What's up, fam? Hey, this is PC. Welcome back to the Green Room podcast series. It is January the 15th. We are halfway through the month of January. It's crazy. Like time just flies by, especially once, the semester starts. It's like bam, 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 here we go. And, we'll be in February. And February is the shortest month of the year, of course. And so it flies by. And so, yeah, it's just that time. But thank you guys so much for listening to the show. I am excited today for our guest, one of my dear friends and somebody that I just think the absolute world of. She is the superintendent at Central Regional School District in Bayville, New Jersey, which is on the east coast of New Jersey, about an hour, 20 minutes, hour, 30 minutes, I would say, east of Philadelphia. Dr. Michelle Carney-Ray Yoder. Michelle, how are you today?
Doing wonderful, PC. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you for making the time to be on the show. I know you're crazy busy, especially as a superintendent, and there's a million things going on. Talk a little bit about yourself, Michelle, and your history and education. I know that you've done so many incredible things. I would love to hear about it.
Sure. I actually started my career as a paraprofessional. So I decided that I wanted to get an education, and I was a theater major undergrad. I'm not sure what I thought I was going to do with being a theater major, but I was also a Division I athlete, so I was a basketball player. So when I was in school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I knew I liked the theater arts and things like that. So that's what I decided to do when I was in college. I don't tell many people that I was a did voice as well. But when I got out of school, I went back home and I worked as a substitute teacher in a alternative classroom for our behavior students, and I fell in love with it. My teaching partner was a Samoan wrestler. I used to joke everybody we were this huge tag team kind of thing going on. And we had the behavior students at the school, and I decided I wanted to go back to get my master's degree in education because I really felt like that was where I was supposed to be. I was a coach, basketball coach, and I just felt like that was my area that I needed to be. So I went back to Old Dominion University. I got my master's degree in special education with learning disabilities and emotional disturbances. And I wound up teaching down there. So I was working in an alternative school for severely emotionally disturbed, cognitively impaired students, old terminology. And I loved it. I was a para first, then I became a teacher there for that school. And then I decided that I wanted to come home because I missed my family. So I moved back to New Jersey, and that's when I became a special education teacher in Brigantine, New Jersey. From there, I went into child study team where I was a learning consultant, and I helped students that were struggling with learning disabilities and emotional disturbances. And then I decided to take the jump to administration or come to the dark side, as I tell people. You know that dark side PC very well. But I love administration. I wanted to impact more students than I could with just my classroom or just with my, and my child study team background. And I loved it. I worked at Fernwood Avenue Middle School as an assistant principal. That was my first exposure to Jostens Renaissance, and the rest has been history. I have lived Renaissance philosophy for over 20 years, and then I became a principal and director of special ed. I thought I was getting away from special education, but I didn't get away from special education. I wound up coming back to it as a principal and director of special ed. And I was an elementary person, I was a middle school person, and bounced back and forth there. And then I decided to take the crazy jump to superintendent. And when I decided to do that, I went to Summers Point as a superintendent. I was also director of special ed there in a small pre-K to 8. And then I moved here to Central Regional, and this has been probably one of the coolest stops on my career tour, as I call it. And I'm going to be ending my career here because this is where I want to be, and this is where I want to leave my mark and my legacy before I decide to ever sail off into retirement in a couple years.
What an awesome, awesome journey. And I've had the opportunity to visit your school district there and just incredible people, incredible schools. This is year 3 for you there?
I'm actually just finished up year 2. So I started mid-year. I started January of 20, and I knew this was where I was meant to be because I remember my first day on the job 2 years ago, PC. And I don't know if I ever shared the story with you, but it was really cool. The union president calls me up and he goes, "Dr. Cry, we know it's your first day on the job. We wanted you to know that if you see people wearing green around the building, that is for you and as a welcome sign and a rebirth and renewal or a renaissance, shall we say, for the district. And we wanted you to feel welcome. So when you see people wearing green, that is for you because we wanted you to know that you're welcome here." I was like, where am I? Like, how often does a union president call a superintendent and be like, hey, we want you to know we're excited that you're here? And it just was the coolest feeling. I've always felt that way. Like my dad passed 2 weeks after I started here, and the way that they wrapped me in love, and I might get a little bit clamped up, and showed me how much they love me. Like I was like, all right, this is why I'm here. Like they need me at the same time I need them, and it's been a really cool journey. I love coming to work every day, and this is the longest commute in my career. So I don't like being in the car, but I love being here. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. I would love to hear, Michelle, from a superintendent's perspective. So you go into this new district. You said you're finishing up year two. When you first get there, how do you decide? Like, what are the priorities? How do you decide? Like, okay, this is my plan of attack. This is my strategy coming in.
It's really a lot of conversations. You and I both have had the opportunity to share a lot of space with Phil Boyd. And I feel very blessed that I went through his first cohort of People First Leadership. And I learned a lot from that, which I think helped me prepare for this change. And I did a lot of just meet and greets, being visible, walking the building, talking to people. You can't come into a school district as a new superintendent, especially when you're not from the county or you're not from the area, and just assume people are going to embrace you. So I just tried to, you know, live with people and walk around and get to know people and let the kids get to know me. Like I love the fact that 2 years in, the kids know who I am. So really just making myself visible and present and loving people up. And listen, not everyone's going to like you, but if you can get most of the people on board and have them feel like they know you're authentic and that you want to be here and that you're not just here for the position, but you're here for them. Like that's what I tried to do. And that was probably my first full year per se before any changes were made. And then it was just more conversations, really.
Yeah. Yeah, establishing those relationships, like you said, with Phil Boyd and people first, right? Personal before professional, and he's so good at that, and it's so true, and it seems like such an easy thing, but I know, like, I'm guilty of it. We overlook it, right? And it's like because we're busy. Everybody's so busy. I've gotta jump in. I've gotta get straight to work, but it takes 30 seconds, sometimes even less, just to say, you know, how's it going? How's Rex doing? How's Chris doing? Like the little things, right? Makes all the difference in the world. And so you guys serve in your district grades 7 through 12.
So we're a middle school, high school, in New Jersey, which is an anomaly compared to other areas and around the country. We have teachers unions, we have principals unions, which is an interesting thing, which a lot of people don't deal with. In addition to the fact that we have about 640 plus school districts in a state that's like this big. So it's because we don't have county schools or county superintendents, and we do that oversee us, but there's also in my sending district. So I have 5 elementaries that send to me, and there are 3 superintendents that oversee those 5 elementaries, and then actually 6, no, 4. There's 4, and then me. So there's 5 superintendents overseeing 6 districts in our regional area.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, and like you said, so many districts and so many schools and so many people. Michelle, you've brought in some awesome things there. And the first one I want to talk to you about is Schoolmark, which is a program offered through Jostens that helps out with branding or rebranding. And helping to establish your identity and what does it mean to be a member of your school's community. I know you guys have done some awesome things there. I would love to hear from your perspective. What has that whole process been like? And like, what's been the results that you've seen so far?
Well, honestly, when the first thing I saw when I came into the district, that I was laughing because I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I know where I am, it's probably not a good thing to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan because it's mostly the Giants and the Jets. But that being said, I came into the district and they're the Golden Eagles. And I'm like, okay. And they have this slogan that's "We are CR." And the first 2 questions I was asking everybody, I said, okay, so what does "We are CR" mean? And they're like, well, "We are CR." I'm like, well, so what does that mean? And because I've had a lot of conversations with Jensen about this, and nobody could really define it. Like it had all these different meanings. And then on top of it, the logo was the Philadelphia Eagle, just in different colors. And I'm like, oh boy. So, because it's a trademark. Like I was nervous, even though I'm a Phillies fan. Philly Eagles fan. Like, I was nervous about what that could mean for cease and desist or whatever. So I said, wouldn't it be nice to have our own identity that's ours, that was made for us, that was our school colors? And we started having these conversations. I did not do this right away because I knew people were super attached to that. And I get it. But I also wanted them to have their own identity, like, so we had a lot of conversations. We brought Jensen in. Terry McGovern, as you know, I think the man walks on water. He has been my rep since I started in Renaissance, and he has stayed with me even through times when I wasn't allowed to even mention, the word, and he is like, "I'm here as your partner. I'm not here because, you're buying your books off of me, whatever." He's like, "He's my partner." So Terry brought Jensen in. We had a great conversation. We brought a whole bunch of stakeholders in that are alumni of the district, that are teachers in the district, that were alumni. Like, we brought a bunch of people to the table, and we started talking about what does it mean to be, a golden eagle. And the one thing Jensen said that really, like, sparked it all for everybody was, "Well, eagles are the only animal that can fly above a storm." And I was like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like, it was the coolest thing that he said, and everybody's looking around, they're like, "Well, we've been through a storm the past couple of years between COVID and different crises in the district." And we started having these really cool conversations about what it means, and we came up with gold Central Regional Golden Eagles are limitless. And because we didn't want it to be fly above a storm because that can have a negative connotation, but we were like, no, we're limitless. We are CR because we're limitless. We don't have any barriers that are going to hold us back from becoming what we need to be. So that conversation was great. And then the artwork that 720 does, they're just off the hook crazy talented. They sent us iteration after iteration, and then people be like, "No, I don't like this. What about this?" And so now we have 3 major marks. One is a golden eagle that has their wings expanded out, that says, limitless, like they're carrying it in their talons. And we've actually developed our Renaissance philosophy on the 6 tenets of those talons, because it has 6 talons. So we have 6 tenets of the talons. And then we have one that is just a rounded golden eagle head that says golden eagles with 2 feathers on it. And then we have another one that's rounded that's very similar to the one that they had here, but it's a stretched out version of the eagle that they made through 720. So it has been awesome working with Mike at 720, Terry, Jensen. Like, it's just been such a cool thing. And now the the teams are excited about wearing it. Like, they're like, I even have my esports coach come to me and he goes, "Dr. Cry, we're going to be a varsity sport. Can I have a version of that?" I'm like, "No problem. I got you." So now he has the same thing, and they have it on their on their jerseys and stuff like that. So everyone's getting involved and everybody's been proud to wear it. And it makes me happy because, like, I even have a hat and a scarf that have the new logos on it. And I'm just proud to wear it, like, because it's everybody's bought in and everybody had feedback to get there.
It's such a powerful process. And, one of the things that Jensen always says is the essence of a brand lies in its consistency, right? And so having that same logo that you're using for all your teams, for all your clubs, for all the things, it just makes such a huge difference. And you talked about, so John Jensen leads our Schoolmark division. He does phenomenal work. And then your rep, of course, Terry McGovern, where, we're the same in that one, and that I think the absolute world of him. And then Mike Conlon works for 720. And so their company helps to provide wraps and murals and all those kind of things that cover your doors and your windows and pretty much anything that you want to do. And between the 3 of those guys, you're in pretty good hands there, Michelle.
Well, and we just started. So, like, we didn't really have a large budget to do a lot, but we put up new banners as you're pulling onto campus. We did the entrances of all of our buildings to make sure that, like, the logos there with the new fonts and the new colors and the new eagles. And we even did our football field. That was probably the coolest. I actually laid down in the middle of the football field on the new logo because I was like, it's sick to see. Like, it is just so cool. And the kids were, like, so excited because not only do we get a new field, but now we've got a new image that's representing us, and it's really taken off. So it's been really, very cool.
Yeah, so awesome. And you just love, yeah, it creates that excitement for your kids, for your staff, for the community in general. It gives people something to be proud of, right? And, we all want that, right? Like, I want that. You want, like, we all want something to be proud of. And so it's just so fun just to watch and just to hear the excitement in your voice and the excitement in your eyes, when you're talking about this. So let's back up. You said 20 plus years you've been involved with Jostens Renaissance. I would love to hear, and I want to talk about it at your school level as well. But before that, I want to talk about you personally and your experience with Jostens Renaissance. How did you ever get exposed to that? And what kind of impact has Renaissance made on your life?
I don't know any other way to lead. That is that is at the core of who I am. I remember the first time, Dr. Kim Gruccio was my assistant superintendent. At the time, I was a brand new AP, scared to death because they gave me 8th grade, 600 eighth graders with 35 buses for the whole building. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. And I'm like, all right. And the first 6 months, I had multiple arrests. I was doing discipline from the time the bus let off in the morning until the time, 2 hours after the kids are gone. And I'm like, I don't know how much I'm 6 months in. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be able to do this because, like, if this is the whole job, this is not what I thought it was. Like, I wanna be with kids. I wanna be impacting them in a positive way. This isn't I'm not sure this is for me. Like, I was actually, for a short period of time, considering maybe going back to classroom because I'm like, "This is a lot." And she's like, "Listen, we've got obviously need to do something different. Go take a look at this school down the street, Bellhaven Middle School with Dr. Frank Karneski." I'm like, "Who is that?" And I walk into I'm like so I'm walking up to the building and I'm a little apprehensive, and I was with an AP from the other middle school and somebody from the high school, and I walk in and just the vibrant, like, it was so vibrant when you walked in, like, the colors on the wall and the T-shirts hanging on the wall and the mission statement, like, it just looked different and felt different. And then, off to the side in the cafeteria, I hear this music thumping, and I'm like, "What?" And I love music, so I was like, "Alright, okay." And I turn and I look, and there's lights flying all over the place, and you hear the kids cheering, and I'm like, "Where?" And I walk into his academic pep rally, and the teachers are all dressed as superheroes, and all the kids are in their team color for their grade, and they're all packed into their they have, like, a common room that's a cafeteria/auditorium. So walk in, and they have special seats for the guests in the front. I'm like, "Wow, I feel awful important, like, this is pretty cool." And I walk in, and now the music starts picking up, and I'm like, I feel like I'm at a rock concert, not in a school. Like, so I'm like, "Alright, this is really cool." And then Dr. Vidnesky and Frank and I go back and forth about, was he wearing silver boots? Was he wearing gold boots? We're always back and forth because he swears it was silver. I swear it was gold, but whatever. We'll leave that as it is. And then he comes flying in on the PE rope, lands in the middle of the stage, and the kids go bananas. That's the only way I can, the kids go bananas. And I'm like, this is so cool. And then they start with their skit. And he always had these killer skits with videos leading up to it. I'm like, it can be like this? I'm like, it can really be like this. And I'm like, okay, like, this is for me. So I went back and I remember going back and talking to my principal, and I know I have a lot of energy. So I know I was overly excited when I walked into his office, and I'm like, I'm doing this. And he goes, "You're never gonna be able to do that here." I'm like, okay. I said, "Do I have your permission to try?" And he's like, and I'm not one to ask permission, but I'm like, "Do I have your permission to try?" Because I didn't want to get in trouble by my boss. And he's like, "Yeah, roll with it." And I'm like, "Okay." And we started, right? Like, it was like full, I'm like, full court press, let's go, and I had a team. I call them my OG Renaissance team, and I'm still very close with all of them to this day. And we started putting incentives in place and monthly rewards and doing all this stuff. And I even had a kid that got suspended on the first day of school after he blacked out and it was in a fight, and he was suspended for 10 days. And he's like, "I'm done. We just this for day one of school and I'm done." I'm like, "Listen, you have to serve your consequences." I said, "But when you come back, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna set some goals, and we're gonna, talk through all of this." And he wound up being my first comeback kid of the semester. And he's like, "Miss Carney, I didn't think that this was even gonna be possible." Just to see how excited he was that he wasn't completely shot for the entire year and put in a different category because of that was so cool. And we just kept building on it and building on it and building on it and building our student team and building our teacher team and getting buy-in. And we decreased discipline by 33% in the first 6 months of that implementation. That's huge. So I was like, all right, this is working. This is how we're gonna roll. I never looked back. Like that was how I was living. That was how I was going to, as I moved through different districts, like we were doing this and either you were on the bus with me or, I'm not arguing with people. Like either you're on the bus with me or we're going to have another conversation. But people just were so excited because it was just so upbeat and positive, and the kids were starting to feel good about themselves and we were starting to see improvement. And I remember we had a during the day dance as an incentive. This was one of the coolest things too. Like we had a during the day dance and one of the girls that were friends made it and one didn't. And I'm standing on a bus duty and I'm just standing back listening to everything. And she says to her girlfriend, she goes, man, you missed, she's like looking at her book. She's like, man, you missed that. She goes, shame you didn't do what you're supposed to do to get into the during the day dance because that was pretty cool. And while I was dancing and hanging out with friends, you were in the classroom. Next month, she was one of our kids that was in the incentive because that positive peer pressure, right? So it was cool. It's like, and it just kept building. And I like, there's so many success stories over the years that were like, okay, this is why I'm doing my job. And this is why I'm this type of leader versus the punitive leader. Like I hold kids accountable. And I have no problem holding kids accountable. Like the ongoing joke is when I tell people I'm Dr. Cry, and I said, yes, I'm Dr. Cry, and I don't make you cry unless you force me to. But I can hold kids accountable. But I like the positive. I want people to feel good about themselves. I want my faculty to feel good about themselves. And that's what you build with Renaissance. And it's not a little box you get in the mail. Like you do it how you need to and what your school needs, which is also very cool.
Such a powerful story. I just love hearing you talk about it. And again, just the passion, right? That's in your voice and it changes your life. Like it changed my life, right? And I think that you can attest to that as well. And so now you're in this new school district and you come in as a superintendent. What tips, what strategies, how do you implement Renaissance when you come in when you're brand new?
You get people, you start talking about it and you start showing it. Like the first couple months that I was here, I did a lot of it myself, just stuff for the faculty in the staff lounges and putting stuff out there with the kids or reinforcing positivity or being visible in the hallway and modeling the behavior that, modeling what you want to say. And then you start seeing people like, I really like the way that felt. I want to be a part of that. And you start building your adult team of early adopters that want to be a part of this too. Because it's really hard when there's a bunch of positive early adopters to really be a naysayer. And then from there, you just keep growing it. We took, I think it was you had just been here for our local event. And then we took a team of students to the the global conference. And that's all it took. From there, I was only 5 months in. And when you get those kids involved and they come back and they're pumped and excited about it, like they came up with our first theme, which is they're like, we sat at breakfast one morning at the conference and I'm like, all right, guys, what do you got for me? Like, did you see anything cool? Do you have any ideas for what we could be our first theme? And the kids did it all. Like they said, this is what we want our theme to be. This is how we want to do it. This is what we think would work well with our classmates and stuff like that. We think the teachers would like this. And they led the charge. And from there, it's just been growing and growing and growing. And now I have it at both schools. So the middle school has a team, the high school has a team. My high school kids go down and mentor the younger students. I mean, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day. And it's been awesome. It's just really been awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah, you get that snowball rolling, right? And once it gets going, man, sometimes it gets out of control. You guys do so many amazing things there. You were telling me just earlier about a Renaissance leaderboard. That's something new that's just started. I would love for you to share that with the listeners.
Sure. So we were worried about trying to do Renaissance cards the way that a lot of schools do them because of the fact that we're on a 98-acre campus with two buildings. And how do we make sure that the conversation is we're getting buy-in? And we were worried about it being too much because when you implement too much too quick, it's hard for the adults to really wrap their head around that change. So what we did was we started with these points, a print shop here that so they do my points for us, and we revamped them again this year. So the points are for character, they're for behavior, they're for academics. And then what we did was we wanted to have a way that we could show the kids almost like, gamify it, like making sure that the students can see who's in the lead or whatever. And then we started attaching incentives to it. So at the middle school, they've been doing this since the jump. So like when they started last year, mid-year, they started with the points and scanning it in at the middle school, but they're also only 2 grades versus the high school, which is 1,600 kids, 4 grades. So one of our teachers, we have this one teacher that has Mr. Clyer has this crazy analytical brain. Like the stuff that he can do is amazing. And giving props to Mr. Clyer because I absolutely love him. And he created a leaderboard for the high school that he built in like 2 hours in Google with JavaScript. Built it. I'm sure you probably used a little touch of AI. And now we have a leaderboard that shows the building leaders as far as their points, plus each grade level, who are the top 3 in each grade level. It updates every time the kids are scanning in, and he even created an app that we can actually use the student ID and scan their ID and give them points for different things. So that scans the barcode and it goes right into the leaderboard. And that runs on TVs around the building, including the cafeteria and whatever, that they can see how many points they're earning. Because now we've attached, especially at the high school, which is cool, we've attached incentives like getting your parking spot, because we paint parking spots here. And so but the kids get here at like 5 a.m. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way that we can do this, like than having kids line up at 5 a.m. in the morning and to try to get in line to get their spots. So next year's junior class, this year's junior class, next year's senior class, it depends on how many points you have and how well you're doing in school to earn your spot in line to choose your parking spot. And we're giving away 2 free parking spots. So the top person at the end of the school year in a junior class gets to pick their parking spot for free and their friend's parking spot, their best friend's parking spot for free. So like the juniors are like insane. They're like, I want all those points. I want to do my job. And really we're just they're getting reinforced for doing their job. So it's really working out really well. The kids are excited about it. And then we're going to start adding to that where like the freshmen points, when they have their points, they're not going to disappear. That's going to determine as they go through how they can earn stuff as they get older. We give away prom bids, we give away yearbooks, we give away all of that, like Letterman's jackets, if it's like something, or like money towards their Letterman's jackets. We figured out that it's better to incentivize stuff that they want within the school walls rather than just we give out gift cards and stuff like that too. But like, we just figured that was a better way to get the kids excited, because then it's something they don't have to pay for out of their pocket.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Yes. And then the accumulation of the points and all those good things, like, yeah, it gives them something to look forward to and something to strive for. Now, is that just for the students, or do you have like a leaderboard for your staff members as well?
We're working on that. We do a lot. Like we just had a holiday. It was after holiday, but we just had a holiday party, and Renaissance sponsored part of it. I sponsored part of it, and the teachers union sponsored part of it. So we had a holiday event. The Chris Yoder band played. I sort of told my husband that they didn't have a choice. So, but the Chris Yoder band played, and I sponsored the band. The CRA sponsored the food, and then our Renaissance program sponsored the hall, so that we had a celebration for our teachers. And a lot of this money that we raise through our foundation goes back towards students and faculty, because you can't really do that with local funds through their budget. So we raise money to do things for our faculty. So we're building on that. And like, my goal for next year would be to have a point system, because I had one for like my teachers when I was a principal could earn my parking spot for a week. They could earn me doing something stupid in front of the kids because they love to embarrass me. There were a whole bunch of reasons that they could earn things that or early out. And actually, my high school principal is starting something, the Goose Get Out of School Early, where they go to a classroom for maybe people who were nominated for faculty of the month but didn't get it, and they march down to their room. They have planned coverage, and they say, "You've been goosed. Get out of here. Have a good day and enjoy your Friday, or go to the doctor's, or go to happy hour or whatever." And they're giving them an opportunity to get out of the classroom a little bit early, and then they're providing coverage. Like, even the admin are really coming up with some really creative ideas to do stuff for their faculty.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love the goose. Like, yes, that's so good. And it's awesome too when your spouse is the lead singer and guitar player for a band, right? Like a legit, like, awesome band. Like, yeah, you got to take advantage of that, right?
Well, he gets voluntold to do a lot of stuff. So when you're a good musician, it's like, it's hard for me to not do that. But and my staff, like, he's developed a following just from my faculty because of him playing for them. So it's been kind of cool.
That is awesome. Michelle, talk a little bit about what are some of the cool, like it's hard to be a teacher right now, right? I always say it's harder right now to be a teacher than it's ever been in the history of ever. What are some cool things that you guys do there for staff recognition and just to lift your staff members up?
But we do a lot. We do a lot with. We decided to shift away from the faculty of the month that you normally do, where it gets a little bit like you're nominating your friends when it's amongst the staff. So now what we do is once a month, we put out on social media to the families a Google form that says, please nominate a teacher or any faculty. Could be like we've had cafeteria workers nominated. We've had our bus drivers nominated. We've had a lot of people nominated that you would normally. We've had administrators nominated, which has been kind of cool. And basically, they parents and students can nominate people within the building, and we only go specifically by those nominations. And then what we do is we print out all the certificates. All of the certificates are read at the faculty meeting, except for the winner of the month. And then I bring them to the board meeting, and then at the board meeting, we even give opportunity for our students or our parents that have nominated those people to come and read it because it's more impactful coming from the student or the right. It's more impactful to hear it from the person who nominated you. And then we get them up in front. They read their nomination. They come up and get their certificate. And then I'm a cornball. I actually make last year it was T-shirts, so I did faculty and students of the month with it hashtag SOTM. So they had like the VTW, like the visible, tangible, walk aroundable stuff on them. This year I've made mugs. So I have I engraved mugs as a craft. So I made with the new logo. I made faculty of the month mugs that have their names on them, and we give them to them as a little token of appreciation. So they have something walking around that says they won faculty of the month. So
Yeah, awesome recognition. And everybody brings coffee or water or whatever they bring in the morning, you know? So, yeah, and you're branding at the same time, man. And then, like, the nominee or the nominator coming into the school board meeting to read that. Like, yeah, I got goosebumps on that one. Like, that one just, it just makes my heart just so happy. I love, love, love that idea. How about a student recognition idea or something cool that you guys do for your kids?
gosh, there's so many. We do a lot with recognition for the students 4 times a year. We move our board meetings to the auditorium, and we invite our students of the month. We invite they the high school has Golden Eagle of the month, which is like normally a senior who is like excelling. We do at the high school level, we do varsity letters for academics. So the students can earn a varsity letter for academics. They might not be that stud athlete or that stud activity person or whatever it may be. So they can get academic letters that way. And we actually just had a rally today. So we do once a month rallies where we edit. And I love the creativity of the high school, actually, and the middle school. Both of them do a phenomenal job because I know they thought I was a little nuts when I first came in. I'm like, and we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this. We had a rally today, and we had Plinko. The options for prizes were Plinko, cornhole, or this golden stars under the seat. So we started off with calling names from the raffle tickets. So they bring their raffle tickets that they got invited. They put them in a jar. They get like a snack. They go to their seat. We play music, and then we start pulling winners. And they can come up and they can choose to win $50 gift certificate for cornhole if they get it, or they can do Plinko for gifts like water bottles. We did winter formal tickets for the high school. They can win a bunch of different prizes. And then after that was all over, Jillian Houghton, who's one of our Renaissance advisors at the high school, Jill and Colleen and Lindsay. Lindsay and Carrie. They're all amazing. She had stars, and then the kids had to get up and find the stars under the seats, and then come running to the front and bring their star up, and then they got to pick a number. They rolled dice to pick a number and get a prize. So, and then they got more snacks on the way out the door. So the kids were excited. Two kids came down bummed that they missed it because they actually showed up late to school today and they missed the rally. And they're like, are there still some gummy snacks here? Like, it was funny to hear them like bummed, like juniors bummed about missing the event, but they're constantly doing recognition.
I love that. And I love the once a month rally, right? Because again, it gives people something to look forward to. It's consistent. And yeah, here we are, juniors in high school, and they're worried about if they miss the rally and they miss the gum and snacks, right? Like little things matter and make all the difference in the world, you know? So yeah, so many awesome things that you're doing there. And then if I remember right, you took me down to your baseball field. Of course, I'm a huge baseball person. And is it your head of maintenance that worked on the New York Yankees ground crew?
He's awesome. He takes so much pride. We are actually talking about new dugouts today, which I know you'll appreciate. I meant to ask you, not did you get the dirt from Yankee Stadium?
I don't have it yet. Hopefully at some point
Send it.
I'll get it. I would love it.
Oh, I'm so bummed. I did send it to you. So it's somewhere in headquarters, but I so he gave me a thing of Yankee Stadium dirt for you when Derek Jeter hit his last,
Yes.
but
Last at bat. Yes.
so, but anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. But he takes so much pride in just cutting like a baseball into the. I'm not a baseball person. PC Sprint help me out. Pitcher's mounds
Yes.
and making sure the lines are perfect on the field. And it is. I take a lot. I don't know anything about baseball. My nephew plays baseball, but I take a lot of pride in the fact that our fields look as nice as they do.
Well, you have just where I was going with that is you have so many incredible people there in that district, right? They take so much pride in what they do, whether it's working on the baseball field or teaching a science class or leading Renaissance or being the administrator. And like to me, like that's what it's all about. You have so many great people and great students as well. And I think that's just reflected so much in, all the amazing things that you guys do. Cause I see, your posts and your text messages and stuff. And it just makes all the difference in the world when you have good people around you.
They love the kids and I would say probably I'm gonna take a number. 60% of my staff are probably CR alum. So they graduated from here. This is their home. This is what they love to do. And the the level of care and pride and passion for this place is just it makes it like I said, I hate driving, but I love driving here because I'm coming to a place with purpose and a place where people love our students and our students love our staff back. Our faculty is so cared for and the kids show it all the time, which has been pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, Michelle, I want to say thank you for making the time to be on the show. I know you're super busy and ready to get home to Chris and Rex. Please tell them that I say hello. Do you have to drive on the turnpike every day?
No, I don't. I drive on the Garden State Parkway. So I always tell people like, well, where's your school? And I said, exit 77 off the GSP or Garden State Parkway is where I am. And I'm very close to, if for the people that are my age that know MTV, now that there's no more MTV, but I am very close to the real Jersey Shore that was on Snooki and that whole crew is right down the street. So yes.
Yes, so cool. Okay. Well, I was asking because I know on the Jersey Turnpike, people drive just insane, right? Like if you're not going triple digits almost, it's like you're going too slow. And so I don't know how it is on the Garden State Turnpike, but drive safe going home. Like I said, tell Chris and Rex that I said hi and thank you so much for making the time to be on the show.
Thank you, PC, for the opportunity. Have a great one. It's great to see you.